No intro, let's go. So I got a message from a guy called Jay, and Jay's title of this message is, Am I too late to turn my life around? And I've got an analogy that I'm going to talk about if you're feeling lost in life and you're feeling like Jay. So Jay goes on to say, Hi Murad, I'm 34 and honestly feeling completely lost. I've bounced around jobs for years, sales, admin, hospitality, but nothing ever sticks. I don't wake up excited and I feel like I've just been coasting. Most of my friends are getting married, having kids, buying homes, or progressing in their careers. Meanwhile, I'm still living paycheck to paycheck, trying to figure out what I want to do with my life. Sometimes I wonder if I've just missed my chance. Like maybe I should have figured it out in my 20s and now it's too late. I'm not lazy, but I just don't have direction. Have you seen people reinvent themselves at this stage? What would you suggest for someone like me? Thanks for reading. Now Jay says he's 34 and I'm 28. And whilst you might be older than me, Jay, I still have a lot of wisdom and a lot of knowledge that I can share. Hence why I'm here. As a matter of fact, I can remember myself feeling like this at multiple points in my life, from the age of 15, 18, 21, 23, 25, 27, and even at 28. We're always going to be reinventing our lives. Our lives aren't static. You're going to feel lost at times, and sometimes you're going to feel like you've found yourself, and then you're going to lose yourself again, and you'll find yourself again. It all comes in waves, it all comes in cycles. It's a normal part of life. And sometimes a normal part of life is being lost and staying lost forever. And if you enter that cycle in life and stay in that particular point within the cycle, then yeah, you're going to miss the boat again and again and again and again, because you're going to miss out on so many opportunities to reinvent yourself. Now, if you want to reinvent yourself, you first have to realize that it is possible that you can reinvent yourself. But if you're sitting here writing me a message or email like this, then you are on the cusp of getting stuck in that cycle. However, you've been bold enough to take action and wonder if you can reinvent yourself. I'm going to give you the answer right now. Yes, you can. Now, a lot of times you're going to look around you in life and you're going to see people who seem to be ahead of you. You go on social media, you see random people hyper successful, and you wonder why you're not there. A lot of the times those people are just faking it, and there is credit in faking it till you make it. But if you fake it and you don't make it, then it wasn't worth your time. A lot of friends and family members might boast about how amazing their life is on the surface, but beneath the surface, that might not actually be the truth. So it's very important that you don't actually delude yourself into comparing yourself against people who aren't being truthful with where their life is at. But the truth that we know is that you are not happy and satisfied with where you are at in life, and that's why you need to reinvent yourself. What I need you to understand is that all those things that you've laid out about your friends who are getting married, having kids, buying homes, progressing in their careers, all those things don't really matter on a day-to-day basis. And the analogy I'm going to give you is based on water. You see, your life is like water, and how you feel day to day is like the water in your life. If you have pure, clean, crystal clear water, that means you're happy, you're feeling loved, you're enjoying life, you're in good spirits, and you're positive about life. Now, if the water is contaminated and it's dirty and it's not this clean color, it's brown, you wouldn't want to drink or be part of dirty, unclean water, would you? Because dirty, unclean water represents not feeling loved, not feeling happy, not feeling satisfied or content in life. All those other things that you mention are simply wrappers of the water. Because if the wrapper is a nice fancy house, a good career, having a partner who you're married to, but the water inside that container is dirty, then there's no point to it. What's the point of living a fancy life filled with all these nice shells around yourself if the contents of that shell is not pure, it's not clean, it's not positive, it's not happy, it's not satisfied? And so rather than trying to take the water from in here and put it into a more shinier container, I mean, this is just a plastic water bottle. You can put it into one of these stainless steel water bottles, which keeps the water cool for a long time. Or you can put it into a glass container, something that you might store an expensive whiskey in. Doesn't matter. It's going to be the same water. You're just simply pouring it from one container into the next. And if you take it from one container and you just pour it out and there's nothing to contain it in, well, that will be similar to ending your life, which we don't want to do. And so I invite you not to focus on the container of your life, what house you live in, what job you have, and things like that. And instead, if you want to reinvent yourself, focus on cleaning that water in of itself. My water right now is clear, and that's how I think about my life. I'm always happy as much as I can be, and I'm always as positive as much as I can be. I do my best to make sure my water doesn't get contaminated, and it stays as pure as possible. As soon as my water starts getting dirty, I know things need to change. It sounds like to me that the water in your life, who you are at your core, is not as pure as you want it to be right now. And you need to focus on cleaning out that water. Well, that was great, Murad. What was that all about? How do I do that? How do I go about cleaning the water in my life? How do I make myself feel better? I want to feel better. I messaged you to feel better. This isn't making me feel better, Murad. How do I make myself feel better? It's not a thing that happens overnight. If you want to purify yourself and feel a lot more happier, a lot more satisfied, a lot more content in life, get yourself to a point where you have more clearer water that you can change and put it into a different container, you have to work on yourself. And that's a daily thing that you do for a consistent amount of time. And it all revolves around your habits. You see, your life is always going to be based around the sum total of all the habits in your life. Build bad habits, you'll build a bad life. Build good habits, you'll build a good life. Build great, solid, foundational habits, you'll build a great, solid, and foundational life. Once you've cleaned the water in your life and you've built a great foundation of habits to live by, you can move from one container to the other, i.e., you can move from job to job, from house to house. You can marry, to a certain extent, whoever you want, and you'll always feel happy and satisfied in life because you inside are feeling happy and satisfied. It doesn't really matter about how big, how small the house you own is. It doesn't matter what car you drive. It doesn't matter about any of those things. It matters about how you take yourself and go about those things. It matters to me about the water I drink. The cleaner the water I drink, the purer the water I drink. I don't care if it's from a plastic container or a stainless steel container or a glass container or a container made out of gold. As long as the water that I'm drinking is clean, purified, and not contaminated, I'm happy. I'm satisfied. That's how I live my life every single day. As long as I'm good, as long as I'm well, as long as I'm working on bettering myself day to day, whatever I have around me, how big the house is, how good the car is, how big my bank account is, doesn't matter as much as what matters as what's in here, and how all of this feels on a day-to-day basis. Stay resilient.